Welcome everyone to a PlasticJoint.com video review. I am Ramses Rivera, and this is my review of Figma Golgo 13 by Max Factory. Before I start with the review, I'd like to address the viewer that unfortunately the full package will not be reviewed for the figure. When you buy the figure, you'll get a D stage, which can be assembled to make a special stage for Golgo 13 to be in. It also interacts with items that you'll see throughout the review too, but being too paranoid for breaking and losing pieces to the D stage, I opted not to use it and used the regular Figma stand. Most of the review will just be about the figure and the accessories that you see right in the packaging. As I show you a few images from the packaging of the figure, Golgo 13 is based on the famed manga character created by Takao Sato. As of the time of writing, there have been 148 trade paperbacks made based on Golgo 13, 3 movies, 1 live-action movie starring Sonny Chiba as the title character, an animated movie, and an OAV movie as well. There have been a lot of video games, including 2 very famous NES games that did come here to the United States, and a 50-episode anime that just wrapped up around last year or so. The general story of Golgo 13 is that he's an assassin that does various missions around the world. Sometimes he's assassinating a rival gang boss, the next assassinating a terrorist leader or a high-ranked figure in the military. The figure itself is standard Figma fanfare. It contains standard Figma articulations, such as Rebeltech-like joints all around the arms, the legs, and the head. Unlike Rebeltech's though, the figure itself actually disguises the joints very well. As far as the construction goes, the figure's suit is made of a very flexible and durable plastic on the coat, so you can put Golgo in various poses without any limitations on the coat. He stands at an average 6 inches, which is average height for him. Golgo is pretty tall and stands pretty tall as a Figma. He's also a bit linear than most Figma males to be released so far. He is very wide, but this is a good thing for Golgo. It's all mass and muscle here, but for so many angles, I can't really take the figure seriously because it looks like he's a little bit fatter than he really is. The only other figure I can really compare Golgo 13 to is Figma Lelouch, who stands taller than 6 inches, but this is attributed to the fact that his character design is much more lankier and much taller thanks to his proportions. His body is also borrowed from a lot of female figures as well, which gives him a more effeminate design than most male figures do now. One of the minuses I can really think of on the figure is that the joints are very fragile, so delicate care is needed when moving the joints. Putting it in hot water or blow drying it should do the trick for the most part to loosen the joints to make them move to however you want. The paint job on Golgo 13 is fantastic. All the details are painted correctly, so you don't really have to second guess any of the details concerning quality control. As far as hands go, Golgo 13 comes with a pair of clenched fists, a left hand holding palm which will be used to hold one end of the rifle, a right hand which can go in different angles to hold the M16 rifle by its trigger. The next pair of hands is an open palm hands, and finally he comes with a pair of holding hands. He also comes with a hand that can hold his big fat cigar too. Golgo also sports an alternate head, switching from his neutral face to mad. The open palm hands, fist, and the holding hands are standard Figma fanfare for the most. The unique part is the rifle holding hand and cigar hands, which is a staple for Golgo 13 to have these hands for his iconic actions. The neat thing about these hands is that they're extremely durable and can withstand anything you throw at it, and it will never go loose or fly off. Props to Max Factory for making a very durable hand, especially for when other lines the hands are the weakest link for the most part. He comes with a bunch of accessories to boot. As I mentioned earlier, the figure comes with a special D-Stage packed in, so the figure alone for its 36,019 yen price point is well worth it, since you're basically getting a full stage with specialized add-ons that even with the specialized equipment, it would win you an extra 1,000 yen or so. A little bit of playability comes from this display, as it has special stage that can be set up, special pegs, stands, featuring word bubbles and targets to add more iconic images for the display. What he actually comes packed in is a rifle, his famed M16 rifle, which can be assembled and disassembled on the fly. Unfortunately, during the review, I broke a piece of the rifle and now has to stay in its rifle mode until I get another one. The next item is a briefcase. It can be put inside the M16 rifle piece by piece, and it also works with the D stage, as you can put special cutouts to have money inside the briefcase. Golgo also comes with a magnum. It's It's pretty small, but it's a good accessory. Personally, I like more his rifle, so usually I stick more to that. Finally, we come to his cigar, which can be placed between his finger on his specialized hand. Be careful. It's a really small and really thin piece of plastic, so it can be lost very easily if you're not careful with the figure. The problem I have with the figure is that some of the parts of the figure itself will not stay in place properly. But this is a Figma problem in general. Sure, the hands work, but the faceplates that it comes with is really what causes the figure to be a hit or miss sometimes. But some of the Figmas I own, usually they have some sort of hair that I can clip on to secure the faceplate in place. But some like Miku Hatsume and Golgo 13, the face just keeps on falling off. Worse yet, Golgo has no such plate to put on top of the face. Another problem I mentioned earlier is the figure is fragile. I have yet to break the figure itself, unlike others I've talked to that have broken off the joint by accident and forcing it out. But I did break my rifle. Something will break or will not fit in with wear and abuse. Another downside is that the character himself is very obscure, and only people who have played the games or read the manga would know who he is. Worse yet, a lot of what's been released here in the United States or material available here is very scarce, so to recommend him on character recognition alone is very low. Other than that, I highly recommend it if you want something that's out of the norm. Despite the figure being too obscure and being on occasions a very fragile figure, the sense of finally seeing Max Factory finally move away from its Moya blob and introduce more characters into the Figma line is what really sold me. Comparing Golgo 13 to, say, the same Haruhi figure that Max Factory has released a million times over is a very welcoming change of pace, and seeing the new lineup of Figmas coming up, it's safe to say that the experiment worked. Not only that, but the figure itself is solid despite its shortcomings. You can pose it and you can move it around perfectly even without the alterations. If you're one of the few Golgo 13 fans, I cannot recommend you enough this figure. My final verdict, 4 out of a possible 5 headshots. The figure itself is very fragile in some joints and could cause some problems overall. But the figure has lots of accessories, and the figure is very iconic, and is a welcome change of pace for the line itself. So that wraps up for another PlasticJoint.com review. I'm Ramses Rivera, and please check out PlasticJoint.com for more written reviews, and please subscribe to this channel for more reviews coming soon.